Welcome back, folks. I'm just going to give you a little bit of an update today on where I am with Dolly, my 59 MGA Roadster, and yeah, we'll get right to it. There's a real mess going on. I've been jumping way ahead of myself. The differential all pulled apart, the whole rear end, and the springs down there. Yeah, the axle's pulled out. Basically, I'm trying to get together a parts order, so I've jumped ahead, pulling things apart, trying to determine what I need to add into this parts order so that I can get moving on things. So I'm going to basically get back to work on the front end today. Like, I've got all the parts cleaned up, but I still have bearings to replace, and bushings and whatnot. So it should be relatively clean work, and I'd like to get that done and start reassembling things. There's springs down there waiting to go back in. I've also been pulling apart some other stuff. I've got my handbrake, actually two handbrakes, all pulled apart. Just wanted to see what I had and what's usable. I'm still fighting with this one. Everything was pretty badly seized up. In the vise here, I've got a rear wheel cylinder. They're kind of interesting the way they work, but I've already got some of those ordered, and pulling this apart was more to see if I could get it apart and if it would be rebuildable, and it looks like they are. So I may or may not order kits to put in them and have them on the shelf in case I need them. And then the other thing I want to do is get on with the shocks. I've got the fork oil, because right now they've got transmission fluid in them. And if you recall from the last video, one of these is giving me a real hard time. So I'm going to give it another good rinse out and flush, and try to make sure that they're, whatever's causing me trouble, I can get it out of there. But yeah, so that's probably the first thing I'm going to work on is changing the fluid in the shocks and flushing out that one that's still giving me a hard time. Okay, so I've got the first shock in the vise. I'm going to pop the top off of it and dump out the transmission fluid. I think this is the one that was giving me a hard time, but I can't say for sure because it's not doing it right now. It should make a liar out of me. But anyway, I've been going back and forth, and it's not jamming up. It's slowing down a little bit, so I'm not quite sure what's going on. But I'm going to dump the tranny fluid out into a nice clean pan so that I can inspect it and see what kind of debris I'm getting. So start by popping these screws out. There's no sign of any leakage on any of these shocks. So, I mean, it's not like they've been used, but even sitting there, you'd think there'd be a little bit of seepage if I had a leak. So I'm hopeful that these are just going to be good to go. Apparently not. It's not looking too bad. There's a couple of little black specks in there. That could also be paint from around the edge. Hard to say for sure. Now this is the chamber that I think would have that debris in it that would plug it, because it's this oil that gets pumped back and forth between the pistons, and I think the oil in the upper part really only replenishes nothing really. Damn it. Okay. Now, I'm going to put the plug back in without the valve. Valve will go in after. Messy. Okay, there's a little better look. Looks nice and clean inside. You can see those pistons going up and down, and absolutely nothing's going to jam right now. And so you have to add the fork oil and back and forth, get the air bubbles out. You can see just about every time I got air bubbles coming up. not saying this is the right way to do it, but the way I do it is I just go around and snug them up just lightly first. And then I go back and give them a little more pressure. And I generally do it like I'm doing a cylinder head. I start in the middle and work around towards the outside. Okay, so now I'm going to torque them. Crisscross like this in the middle ones. And once more around for good measure. I'm hoping that these won't have to come off again. I've been on and off multiple times while I've been redoing this, but okay, so now I'll flip it around. And we'll open up this end. Leave the spring down in there. Okay, now I forgot to add the oil. Kind of the purpose of this whole exercise. Now, see the bubbles coming out? Now, pour it again. Oh, the wrong hand here, but I need to. I don't know if I have my head in the way of the camera or not, but I'm trying to. Oops. Okay, I think that's got it. Okay, now you know, I'm not happy. I'm going to pull that spring out and make sure that washer is still in place. There's a spacer washer that sits on top of this. Yeah, there they are, okay. if they had gotten out of place, I could see that being something that would cause the fluid not to flow. Okay, top it up again. Okay. Now with that, I feel a little more confident, and we'll just drop that in. It's messy. Okay. That I'm happy with. One last thing to do. Flip it over in its normal position. Oh. That's back to doing what it was doing before. What the heck? What the heck? It wasn't doing it. Well, it makes no sense to me whatsoever. I think I'm going to go ahead and put it on so I can move forward. And meanwhile, I will take one of my other shocks and send it off for rebuilding. Maybe even have two of them done. Okay, no air bubbles. Okay, this is shock number 2. I don't understand why, after it sat for a while, it was working fine. And then it starts doing it again. This is confusing. And now it seems to be working properly, but I don't know. It's a puzzler. Now the rear shocks, it's the same thing. They've just got a single lever arm. This one's got no oil in it at all. But same thing, you gotta pop the top off and the valve out. I'll put the fork oil in and go through the same procedure. Fill it up from the top, and then flip it around and fill it up from the valve, working all the air out, and then put it back in its top position and top it up through the small hole. Which I still have to do with this one. I didn't try and fill it up through the top hole, but there's going to be very minimal room for more oil going in there. But yeah, that has to be done yet. I was just a little bit over anxious to try it and see if it was working properly. Well, folks, I'm going to end this video here. Thanks for tagging along and watching. If you come back and watch my next video, I'll give you a little sneak peek on what I'll be up to. I'll be putting the front end together. First off, I'll have to press new bushings into these swivels and ream them out, and put the whole front end together. But this side that I've already got together is going to have to come apart because I screwed up. But anyway, if you come back next time, you can find out where I screwed up. And yeah, please like and subscribe. And we'll see you on the next one. Thanks for watching.